Hi, neighbors. It's your girl, Fenyx Blue, sharing lyrics, lessons, and lifestyle with you. Today, we have a special guest, an author that you are going to love. Let's go. Hello and welcome, neighbors. Today, we are meeting Miss Michelle Fuqua, and she is going to tell you all about herself, and we're also going to find some information about her books. So, Michelle, thank you for joining us today at the Fenyx Blue Ink Writers Block Club. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. I know it's going to be a great day because I'm here with you and you have all those books in the background. So I'm inspired already.
Yes. This is my library. This is where I've spent the last 12 months of quarantine in this room. This is my work office, this is the church, this is everything right here in this room.
Absolutely. And that is a wonderful thing to be able to have for quarantine. I mean, look at all that entertainment behind you. Um, so I wanted to start right away. You know, your name is Michelle Fuqua, but people don't know you. You know, some of my audience may not know you. So I'm wondering if you had to tell us three words that kind of capture who Michelle Fuqua is, what would those three words be as a writer?
The three words that would describe me as a writer are really the three words that describe my whole life, which is God's chosen woman.
Mm,
Everything that I do in life, I try to inspire and educate and empower women and men to be all that God has called them to be. Whether that's through my writing, fiction, nonfiction, a little bit of poetry that I write on the side, blogging, everything that I do, I want to encourage people that they can be everything that they dream in their heart of being, and that they have the ability to be that, to do that, to everything, every area of life.
awesome. I love that you started your three words with God. And as far as chosen, I'm glad you chose to be on here today. I'm so glad.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So talk to us about the writing process. You are now a published author. So I'm wondering, like, what is your process for writing? Do you have a certain routine or something that you like to do? I know some people, I'm not going to say who, they love chocolate. And when they're writing, probably not the best habit, but it is mine. I love a little Hershey's chocolate. But what is your process all about?
My process for writing, really, I have to get into a place of stillness. I'm a hyper person, and usually there's like 100 things going on in my mind at one time. So if I can get up in the morning and have some stillness, that is the best time for me to write. I When I'm writing nonfiction, I really don't like an outline. But after listening to some of my sermons, I decided that the best thing for me to do is to try to outline, because I go in 10 different directions. And even though I end up back to my main point, an outline helps me to reel all of those things in. I like a cup of coffee. The best time for me with writing is if I, and this is best case scenario, which never happens, if I can clear off 3 or 4 days and not engage with anything else other than writing, that's perfect. But since that doesn't happen for any of us, what I do is I try to get up early while everyone is asleep and at least get the main ideas down. I've tested uh, recording myself with the phone, and that doesn't work for me. It's as if it doesn't flow. I have to have my pen on the paper, and it's something about that connection that works for me. Even if I try to transcribe a sermon into a book, I have to take that message and then apply the pen to it in order for it to really feel like I own that.
All right. Yeah. I mean, thank you. Some people do have that. They use the voice memo. You know, some people do outline. I am one of those people. I do like the pen as well. I definitely hear you on that. But what you said about having 3 to 4 days perfectly where we could just focus on writing, isn't that the dream? That would be amazing.
That is a dream. That is so the dream. Now
That is
I've been to Miami on the beach, and I've taken I have an electronic pad that the pen is digitized, and then you can plug your pen into your computer, and it transcribes it for you. That works really good if you want to write on the beach, and and that's just wonderful too. Just laying there on the beach over that week of vacation that we used to get before COVID,
oh my.
and get some thoughts on paper that you can add to later on if necessary.
Wonderful. Yes, love the beach. My favorite place. Okay, well, thank you for sharing your writing process. There are some people that are probably watching and maybe they want to be writers or they just love writers, so that's why they're tuned in. They love to read. But for those aspiring writers out there, I usually ask for advice, but I'm going to change that a little bit in the sense that what would be the don'ts? You know, if you could tell an aspiring writer, don't do these three things, what
What
would
would they
those
be?
be? Yes.
Don't be your biggest critic, because you already are going to have that inner critic that is going to try to keep you from producing the piece or the work that you see in your mind. Leave that on the side. Believe in yourself, and say you're going to sit the criticism aside. Uh, don't take lots of time off from writing. If you can write every day, even if you're just writing, I am a writer, I am a writer, I am a New York Times bestselling writer, I have mastered the skill and the craft of writing. Do those things. And then don't be afraid. Go ahead. If you have an idea, a thought, or something calling you in your heart, don't worry about what the ultimate outcome is going to be. Go ahead and create it, produce it, and give life to it, and allow it to go where God is going to send it.
Wow, wonderful. I love that. Don't criticize yourself, believe in yourself, and don't be afraid because fear
That's
is
right.
something that keeps people from, fulfilling their dreams or following their dreams. So I love that you say that.
Yes.
And that those things could go for anyone, not just authors or future authors. That could be for everyone, you know.
That's across the board.
Yes, don't criticize yourself.
Yep.
Okay. What would be a fact that someone would be surprised to know about Miss Michelle Fuqua? They would be like, no way. No way.
Well, I think that because I preach, and over the last year I've had to pivot all the way to online. So I'm online preaching on Sundays and Wednesdays, and sometimes doing devotionals. And then I have some other endeavors. So I'm online talking a lot. And I am an extrovert person. I love people. I love being with people, socializing, mentoring, helping, everything that I can do. I love doing it. But what would surprise most people is that I also love solitude. I love to have time with no noise, no movement, no action, where I can sit in stillness and think and hear from God and just rest my mind and my heart. The hardest part of that is resting my mind, as I've already shared with you. It's always going. So when I can get into that place of quiet, I often don't want to leave. So
Wow.
people wouldn't see that based on what they see of me on social media.
They're like, she's an extrovert. She's not taking that personal time, but you found value in that time with yourself.
That's right.
I think a lot of people don't do that enough. I don't know if I do it enough. I've tried a lot, especially over this last year, to really take that time to get to know me,
That's right.
That's
You
important.
have to. You have to.
So I love that. And maybe I'll add that with some of your manifestation. I'll be like, believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
I am
Don't be
good.
afraid. Yes, I love it. Okay. So you've been writing for a while. You have multiple books, journals, things of that nature. What is the best compliment? I know we get reviews and we need reviews. Maybe I need to look in the camera. We need reviews.
We need reviews. We need
We
reviews.
need reviews.
We need reviews.
Positive ones, positive reviews. Okay. So, but what has been your best compliment that you have received as a writer? I think sometimes you remember that, like something that stands out.
The best compliment that I've received is I was going through a really hard time. I was struggling with a certain area of my life, and I read some of your devotions, or I read your blog, or I read your book that was kind of on marriage, and I was encouraged, and it helped me to keep going. I want to make sure that everything that I produce in the earth empowers, engages, and entertains. And when that happens, I believe that people, we have so much going on, and every now and then we need an opportunity to breathe. And I hope that everything that I produce allows people to breathe, even in the middle of tough situations that they're dealing with, or even sitting on the top of what they feel is the highest point they can get in their life. I want to encourage them. No, you're not done yet. You might be at a high point, but
There's
you are
more.
not done yet. You can go higher. So just keeping people motivated. And when I hear that something that I've done is helping people to continue, that's the greatest compliment I can receive.
That is wonderful. You're walking in your purpose and you're fulfilling your purpose, and it is touching people. That is a great, great, great compliment. So, on this journey, like we've met through communities, and it's so important as a writer to have a community that supports you and builds you up. But did you have any mentors along the way, or do you serve as a mentor to anyone?
I serve as a mentor to, I mean, I've mentored hundreds of women, young ladies who are not just striving to be writers, but who are trying to perfect their life, who are trying to move in a direction that they need to move in order to have a meaningful life. And that has been very encouraging. I have mentors. I've actually hired coaches along the way, whatever I felt I needed at any particular time. This last year, I've been involved, as I mentioned to you earlier, in the Affirm group by Cheryl Pelote Williamson. And ju- I haven't spoken with her one on one, but just being around the things that she's doing online and in her life has been a blessing. And I use her example as I move through my process, and the women that I've met as a result of that encounter.
That is a really good point. Sometimes you don't have to directly come in contact with someone that is like serving as a role model and an influence over you.
That's right.
And that's why it's so important as us, someone may be watching our example and seeing how we're going through life and following as well. So that is really good. That's a good message. You mentor in many different ways. But I like
Yeah.
that you're an actual mentor to many different women too. That is
Yeah.
very inspiring to me. Um, okay, so about your publishing journey, can you tell us about that? Because I think that a lot of people out there, they have a vision of what publishing is. So you submit your work, everyone loves it, they purchase it, and you become a millionaire. So
That's not the case.
that's not the case. Okay, so could you tell us like the short version of what is publishing like? Like, how was your journey?
Well, so I'm still on my journey. I'm not a New York Times bestselling author or
Yeah,
Amazon yet, but
yeah,
I am on the way there
yeah.
because I had some epiphanies. I was in an anthology in 2012, and we published it. I got the books, and I waited. I had a book signing when I first got my books, and then I waited, right? Who's gonna buy the books? I didn't tell anybody, right? I
Right,
told
right.
my family and my immediate friends, and then I didn't do anything else.
Yeah.
Then I took that story and I published it as a separate book on Amazon, and my only action item was to publish the book. Period. So
Yeah.
once I put the book out there, I walked away. And then I went back maybe several months later, and I noticed that I had money that I had made from the book. And I was like, I didn't do anything. What would have happened if I had done something?
Wow.
So last year I published a 40-day devotional for Lent, and I gave it away for free. I did a little bit of advertising. I did a broader spectrum of marketing it. but not to the degree that I would do it today based on what I've learned in the last 12 months. So your writing, so I know you told me quick.
No, take your
So
time.
my message to you is that it's very hard to just be a writer if you want your writing to have the kind of impact that you envision without also being a business within yourself. So if you decide that you're going to be a self-publisher, which is the direction that I have taken, what that means to me is that I'm a business in myself. I have to learn how to market. I have to learn how to form those partnerships. I can't just write. I have to do all those other things.
Mhm.
If you decide you want to go the other route and go through a publishing house, that's good also. But there's some things you should consider, given what's in the contract for. Are they going to own my work, or am I going to own my work? Is it a shared partnership, or what is it? When you do that, they help you with some of the marketing. So you have to decide what kind of business you're going to be as a writer. And I choose to do my own publishing, and I'm actually going to start my own small publishing firm through which I will publish mostly my works, some family members, and some other people who desire to be published, and just help them to the level that I have learned to help people. One thing I used to do, I used to think you had to get to the pivotal point before you can help people. But wherever you are in a journey, there are people below you who
Yeah.
do not have the knowledge that you have. So you can help right where you are, even if it means you're pulling people up to the level of your platform, and then you go higher, and then you pull them higher. So you don't have to wait. Like, I don't have to wait until I'm on the bestseller, on the New York Times bestseller list to help people. I can help people get through the writing process and get published and move where they want to be. So think about what kind of writer you want to be. What is your purpose? What impact? And that can be your fiction writing and your nonfiction writing. What is your platform? What is your underlying message that you want to share to the world? If you were going to have it in your obituary about your writing, what would you want it to say?
Wow, that is very, very deep. Starting with the end in mind, what would you
That's
want
right.
it to say?
Right.
Absolutely. I'm the same way. I did not intend on being an author coach. I did not intend on having my own publishing company. I just wanted to write and publish books. But
Right.
they all went together.
That's right. That's
All
right.
connected, and one journey leads to the next journey. And
That's right.
we can share with other people our journey along the way. So I'm so glad that you said that. And you are a success. I don't know what it is about all those lists. The lists, hey, once you press publish and it got out there, and ever since then, you are a success.
That's
Uh,
right.
so, because I know you're a woman of faith, this is not typical for me to ask this, but I know you are a woman of faith. So, has there been a certain quote or scripture that has helped you along the way as an author? I know I have a grandmother who was like, put that scripture in your, shoe and walk on it, walk by faith. Make sure you always have that, or keep it on the mirror, any of that. Is there something that helped you along the way that you think might be beneficial for others? Um,
Sure. The trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. That scripture helps me tremendously because since I am a driver, I want things completed and done now. Like, I should already be on the New York Times bestseller list. My church should already be a mega church. I should already have 20 books written.
yeah,
And I can get impatient, and I can get discouraged with myself, and it can become a downward spiral when you project your idea of what success is upon the calling that God has put on your life. So you have to refer back to, what should I trust about God? What has he asked me to do? If he's asked me to do it, my only part is to do it. The results are up to him.
yeah,
And when I learn from people like you and people that I've met uh, through this year, I mean, I feel like this year has been a doctoral education in this 1 year. So
yeah,
when you learn something, apply it and then trust. Apply and then trust. apply, and then trust. And wait for it. It may not come at the time that you want it, but it will come. You cannot continuously sow into the earth, and the fruit not come. Well, first the plant has to come out the ground, right? But it's going to bear fruit because that's just a universal law. That is a spiritual principle, the principle of sow and reap. So if you are out there and you know you're doing the right things in the right places, and it doesn't matter if you're doing them raggedy from the perspective of you're learning as you go, as long as you are pursuing what God has placed in your heart, trust Him and you will see it come to pass. That I believe that, and I see it happening all the time.
And I see it too for you and for others as well. Your territory has been expanding. So speaking of expanded territory, tell us about your books, because that's one of the reasons why we're here is that we want the audience to know about your books, maybe even show us and just tell us about them.
I thought about it. I have some here, but I thought about those. I apologize for getting up. So I want to show you some of the things I've done, and I'll tell you a little bit about my upcoming project.
Yes.
So this is the book that I told you about, Shattered Perception. This is a story about a young lady who finds out that her husband cheated on her and had a baby by another woman. Good story. And this is the current copy of it. So you see, this cover was done on Amazon. This cover was semi-professionally produced. As I learned that your cover matters. So for those of you who are starting out, I want to encourage you to produce at the highest level of excellence that you can produce with what you have. If you can go on Fiverr and get you a nice cover, do that. So this is one that I'm in this year. This is a gratitude journal. This is available on Amazon. And then this one, again, same thing, same book, different covers. It's called The Growth Process. And you have to start somewhere, and then you just continue to perfect your craft and perfect what you know. And this is what it looks like now. This is a 40-day journal. It started out as a Lent journal, but it really is about spiritual growth. And I'm going to show you. See, I'm doing my own study in my own.
I was going to say that's my word for this year, growth. Growth is my word.
Those are my notes from my own book.
Yes.
God is using me. Now, the other thing, these are journals. They're empty. Journals that I produced. And I do these to help women to have a place for their spiritual thoughts. Those are all on Amazon. And I did those just because I want to see women just continuously every day growing spiritually. Yeah. My work, that if you see me on Facebook at all or Instagram, I'm promoting my latest work, which is going to be in the Sold Out Volume 2, where the visionary is Cheryl Pelote Williamson, and I'm telling my story about how I moved from fear to faith. One thing that people don't know about me is that I had 5 miscarriages, and the impact that had on my life and on my identity, on my self-worth. And I tell that story about how God brought me, used that one area of life to show me all the flaws in my self-identity and how I perceived my value, and used it to impact my entire life because I saw such a sense of failure in that area from my perspective.
Yeah.
And God used that to grow me up and help me to walk in my purpose. So that is the story that is
testimony right there.
Pre-sales right now. And it's going to come out in the spring. We're going to have a launch this month. And so that is the work that I'm proud of, because I really had never talked to anyone about that.
Yes.
Me and my husband knew it, and some of my sisters, but it's one of those things that just I didn't share. I mean, I actually literally went to a conference for my job while in the middle of going through the process of having a miscarriage. Mm-hmm. And so when I think back on that, it just really it's like, wow, that was amazing that you continued to go because of how everything was all tied together with self-worth. You can't step back and say I need a break. You can't say I got to recover and rest.
Yeah.
You have to keep going. You have to be strong. You have to be
Woman
successful.
syndrome, like,
You
yeah,
know, and I
yeah,
look back and I'm like, that was so stupid, you
I
know?
know, yes.
So I want to encourage people to
That.
take time to heal.
Yes, women need to hear that, and they need to get permission to know, like, it's okay to have self-care. It's okay
That's
to
right.
walk away. It's okay to heal in whatever way that you need to heal. And I just think the courage that it took you to put that down from fear to faith and your story, that is something that is to be admired. And I'm so glad that you're sharing your story with the world.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. So where can people find out more about you? I know you mentioned Instagram, Facebook. Would they go to Michelle Fuqua?
So on Instagram and Facebook, it's Michelle W. Fuqua. I have a website, michellewfuqua.com, and you can go there. It doesn't have the book that's coming. I need to add that on there. I actually changed my website to another person, so I'm still learning how to update it.
Yes.
So that's not done. But if you go to my Instagram account and click on my bio, uh, my link tree will have a link to all of the books that I've written, and it'll also have a link if you are looking for someone to coach you or mentor you. You can get on my calendar and we can chat.
Mhm.
It'll have, I'm the thing I'm the most proudest of is founding a church in 2012 in the middle of I'm a woman. Should I preach? Should I not preach? Everybody's going to hate me. And I live in the South. And I had to overcome all of that because when God puts a calling on you, you
Yes.
can't let other people's uh, thought process and how they interpret the Bible stop you from doing what wakes you up in the middle of the night.
It's your anointing, right? You can't.
Yep. So 2012, I've been doing that. So at Living Water, the number for you, if you want to come and participate in our services on Wednesdays and Sundays.
That is wonderful. So people will be able to connect to you. It's very easy to do so. Michelle W.
Yes,
Fuqua.
yes,
Okay. And you can reach out. You can even hear her speak and preach, and then you
yes.
can read, and you can even journal in her journal. So it's so
That's right.
much to offer, so much to offer. I am so glad that you came to join us and that you've interviewed with me. And I always want to give my authors the last word. So, you're looking in that camera and you're only going to give them one reason to run out and buy that book right now. What is the one reason that they should get up and get a copy of any of those books? Why?
The one reason why is because God is calling you to a higher place from where you are right now, and you already know it. You felt the pull, and maybe you just need someone to encourage you, to empower you, so that you can take those next steps. And I guarantee you that any of my publications will help you to increase your faith and help you to take action in the area of life that you desire to take action.
Yes, go get them. Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Bye bye.